Fast and easy ways to rep farm Goblin Cartel rep. Unlock all unique rewards in the War Within. Here's the thing. I'm actually watching this video for myself because, as you guys know, I spent an entire week without selecting a cartel. I'm an idiot. It was week 2 of this season, and I completely scuffed it up. I got into Mythic Plus and everything. I was all excited. I forgot to pick a cartel. So now I'm behind. So now I need to know how I can get my rep up, and that's what this video is about here from Dalaran Gaming. Let's check it out.
Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. With the patch launch of 11.1, Blizzard added the new zone of Undermine, which is a collector and solo player's haven, with so many different items that you can collect from the 4 main Goblin cartels, plus an additional secret cartel that takes a short questline to unlock. But grinding through reps for these cartels to unlock all of their fun rewards has been a little bit of an arduous journey, though players did find a brand new method that is incredibly fast and efficient.
Brand new
but
method.
When things seem to be this easy, usually Blizzard likes to stomp those things out in a fun detective type of moment.
Sure.
Though it looks like they haven't touched this method whatsoever, so you might as well take advantage of this fast, incredibly quick method and collect all of the rewards with the Goblin cartels in...
Oh my god. I thought I clicked the wrong video there for a second. Damn. Gotta go incognito with that one. Who the hell put that cadence? Jesus, scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh shit.
Incredibly quickly.
About to get banned from Twitch.
So for today's video, I'm going to go over how to ransack these cartels for all of their worth. Whether you tried to get the reputation with the base 4 cartels or the 5th secret one that's a little bit more grindy, but still we'll go over what are the fastest methods of being able to obtain the rep with these cartels to finish them out as quickly as possible. As always though, if you guys want to see more regular updates for the season 2 content of the War Within expansion, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in.
Alright, get it.
There's 4 main Goblin cartels for you to interact with, and actually 1 secret cartel that I will talk about towards the tail end of the video. But for the main 4 Goblin cartels, you get to pick which one you want to work with at the beginning of the week.
Can I be honest though? Was it my fault that I didn't pick a card? Can Blizzard not like indicate it with like a blinking light or something, or like a reminder, like, hey, pick a cartel? You didn't pick a cartel yet. I completely ran the entire raid, cleared normal and everything, never selected a cartel. Yes, it was my fault. I guess so. I mean, there's no indication that you didn't pick a cartel. I kind of wish, like, if you didn't pick a cartel, they would just default automatically pick the one that you didn't. Or, like, you lock it in, and it stays selected until you change it. I think that would be a better system. I almost feel like it's intentionally meant to screw you over, and if you don't pick one, well, great. You get to grind it out later. Yeah, get a weak aura? I guess. You fucking need weak auras for everything in this game.
For the Bilgewater, Steamweedle, Blackwater,
there is a reminder
and
where? I didn't see it.
In most cases, there's really an obvious way for you to go about earning the reputation with all of them, and that's either from maybe some of the world quests, some of the weekly events that are available, like side gigs that will give you rep with those factions as well, or even any of the side quests if you haven't completed them on all of your characters. There's quite a lot of opportunity for you just to be able to get a bunch of rep with these cartels every single day, it seems like. Which are all fine activities, but they are better and faster ways of farming it. And since Blizzard hasn't touched this at all for a number of days now, it looks like that we're basically set a go to speed farm these reps to our heart's content. And we'll do so through C.H.E.T.T. C.H.E.T.T activities are essentially open world activities that you can do around Undermine. It is something you will need to unlock through Renown track at first though.
The C.H.E.T.T list is also a great... Well, how far in the Renown do you have to go? He'll say it, I guess. But the C.H.E.T.T list is also a way to get, gather up Valor Stones. You get Valor Stones the entire time you're running those, so that's also good
and it will be around the Renown track 13, where you can start getting C.H.E.T.T activities from the Incontinental Hotel, in order to do a variety of different activities all around the Undermine. There will be literally a machine called C.H.E.T.T. You'll ask for it for a C.H.E.T.T list, and when it gives you a C.H.E.T.T list, it's almost like a checklist of activities that you could do out in the open world. Sure. Most of these activities are, I mean, just choosing a cartel earns you 10 Valor Stones. Doing some of the side gigs is 20 Valor Stones. Fishing is 20. And a variety of these activities is just an extra way for you to be able to get additional Valor Stones while interacting with the open world content.
Right.
But some of it could also be like doing some of the delves and things like that. So all of your daily activities.
Oh, God, really? I didn't realize. I don't think I've even looked at the chat list yet. I don't even know if I've unlocked it. But I didn't realize that, yeah, completing delves and stuff like that is... Are any of these raid related? Side with the cartel side? Wait, picking a cartel is part of the chat list? Side with a cartel? Really? Like, that's an easy thing to do? So this is your reminder list, basically. This is the reminder you guys were talking about. Got to catch at least a few. Go fish. Clean the side streets. Desire to drive. Casual cruising. So I don't think raiding is part, but delves are at least part of the checklist.
Activities that you're
World
likely to
content
do
and
on your
delves.
alt some point in the Undermine. You could also complete the checklist in order to get additional bonuses. And this checklist is available for every one of your alts. Normally, checklist is great for getting yourself a bunch of valor, as you get all the different valor for completing all these lists. And once you completed at least 4 tasks, you can turn the checklist back into the chat machine for around 250 bonus valor on top of it. So if you're really
Nice.
behind on valor, this is a really great activity for you to be able to get a lot of currencies to upgrade your gear. However, you can also use the checklist in order to start using it for reputations. Once you do the Check-In Twice achievement on any of your alt characters, so you can do this on your main and an alt character, once you turn into completed checklist to the chat machine, you can actually then start converting these checklists into reputation with faction instead.
Oh.
So right now, all of my
Wait, so is the checklist a once a day thing or a once a week thing? Like, can you turn in a completed checklist twice? Is it daily or is it a weekly? Like, can you get this achievement in 2 days or is it going to take 2 weeks? Because that's important. Weekly? Oh, so you got to wait 2 weeks to get this achievement? Fuck. I haven't even done the checklist once yet. Damn. So it's going to take 2 weeks to get this achievement minimum.
reputation with faction instead. So right now, all of my alts are at the moment are allied with the Bilgewater Cartel. So for the moment, the only quartermaster that I have available to me right now is the Bilgewater. But once you complete a checklist, once you're able to do so, you can start trading it in for Finder's Fee. All it takes is for you to have a completed checklist on the character, and it converts to a roughly 500 bonus reputation for the character that turned in. But with reputations being warbound, all of your alts can essentially work towards completing all of those reps and building them up. So whichever cartel you get to ally with, that is the cartel that you can start using those checklists in order to get bonus reputations from. So every single week you will have to adjust and switch which cartel you're part of, and then basically send an army of alt characters with a bunch of these checklists in order to fuel that reputation further.
So you can get this rep by so you get the achievement, and then you can start doing this Finder's Fee thing and getting 500 extra rep every time you do the chat list.
However, when you do so, you will be giving up the valor that you can get for the chat list. So if you're really behind on currency, this is going to be a trade-off. So you can either get additional valor on a fresh new character or an alt character, or you could get 500 reputation with a...
Yeah, but this isn't fair. So if you have alts, you can do this better. This is an alt strategy, basically. I don't have alts. I thought you're not supposed to have an advantage by having alts. What the hell, Blizzard? What is this shit?
Goblin Cartel faction, which if you're just trying to get all the rewards for the Goblin Cartels, then it's definitely worth using all of your alts to chat up all of that reputation fairly quickly. And there's quite a bit of reputation for you to get through. Now, from the main 4 Goblin Cartels, we'll start with Bilgewater. There's actually a lot of things for you to be able to purchase, and there's so many different reasons why you may actually want to grind this rep to begin with. Where if you are trying to get more customization for your vehicle, this is where you can actually get at least the old, low, and slow horn for the car if you're with a Bilgewater. You can also get a Cartel banner. You can also get a Bilgewater junk hauler, which is an additional pet if you're big into collectibles. A storefront in a box for additional Goblin style design if you just want to mess around with it. A mount that you can obtain, which does cost you a little bit of resonance crystals. But
with Steam Weedle, yeah, so did I. I want the Noggin Fogger elixir, so that I went that direction.
If you're a mount collector, that's another one to add to that collection. A tabard that can match a certain variety of mogs. You also get paint the redlining red for your vehicle if you're finally trying to customize your vehicle, and those are all the rewards that you can get with the Bilgewater Cartel specifically. Now, with the Blackwater Cartel, they're a bit more piratey and all about smuggling, so the rewards are going to be slightly different. They also have a different horn for you to be able to purchase. Then they also have their own version of the banner. They have the Wave Breaker Mechasaur. There's only a handful of these Mechasaurs that I've been able to get, so if you're looking to add more to those...
Oh, so you'll notice the rep bag is not available for this. So as I think you said it earlier in the video, you can only purchase the rep bag from the one that you're aligned with that week.
Collection. You can do so. A personal fishing barge. You can also get a mount of the Blackwater Shredder Deluxe MK2. There's a handful of these shredders, and this faction is one of the ones that can get you a proper shredder mount. There's also a tabard with their colors, as well as a body roll blue for your vehicle. With Adventure we also got the whole brass.
Honestly, the drive vehicle customizations are not that exciting to me. I feel like they could have gone more wild with those things. I just, there's nothing that motivates me to get drive vehicle customization options.
Band horn. We got a
Plus, it's
Ventrico
only a mount you
banner,
can use
a
here. So.
rocket fist, which is the a robot.
Like the Delver's dirigible shit is way cooler. Those things are way cooler, like the customizations that you get for killing Underpin and all that stuff. And plus, you can use that mount anywhere. This mount, the drive vehicle, I just don't care to customize it that much. And like I said, it's undermined only, so it's there's nothing exciting about getting shit for it.
Gorilla type of a pet. Actually, one of the more
That's
unique
cool
pets in
pet.
the game. There's also a toy for a throw-in saw blade, the Orchard Delivery Rocket. So if you're looking for one of the rocket mounts, these guys have that. The tabard for the Ventrico Undermine, which has a bit more of this orange-ish tint to it, as well as the paint of yellow cake yellow. And then we have the Steam Weedle Cartel, which I found in the left-hand side, kind of like over in the Vatworks, a little bit further out of the way compared to the other Quartermasters. They have the Maniacal Melodies horn, the Steam Weedle banner, Eepy, the a hyena pet. They have one of the more unique toys of the everlasting Noggin Foggin Elixir.
That's the
They
one.
also have a mean green
That's the
flying
one.
machine, one of the few that has a flying mount as the reward, as well as a Steam Weedle Undermine tabard
got
and the
Talador
paint
playing.
of the Goblin green. But a lot of these cartels also actually give you additional rewards as you gain more reputation past Exalted. Similar to how, let's say, with Severed Threads, if you continue to build reputation even after you've maxed it out.
I didn't know this. Hold on, when you hit the top rep, you get another reward. Continue earning reputation with Severed Threads to receive this other. I never got this far in Severed Threads reps to actually find this out. You get a variety of rewards for those who have proven themselves true allies of the Severed. Okay.
You still get those overflowing Severed Threads trolls that give you additional bonuses. Every single one of the cartels also gives you other bonuses, and in those, there's also an additional chance for yet another
That's every
recolor
rep,
for a
Sam?
mount. Like,
I have not grinded out a rep to this extent in probably years. So I had no idea this mechanic even existed since Legion. Yeah, no, I probably haven't done it in like 4 or 5 expansions. I just don't do it. I literally grind a rep to the point where I get the thing I wanted, and then I never touch it again. I'm a minimalist, guys. I'm a degenerate. I'm not gonna put that much effort into anything.
pretty sure the Blackwater Cartel, they normally sell you a mech mount, but I think their bonus one might be
I have some exalted factions, but they're like classic WoW factions. So they're like shit that I just got by accident because I played the game.
a hyena, while the Steam Weedle sells you a flying machine, but I think their bonus one might actually be the mech. So all of them have a potential chance at giving you additional rewards, and one of those rewards may be a mount. So being able to build up their reputation right now and then starting to farm their reputation after you've maxed it out past Exalted may be one of the ways that you can earn additional rewards from these cartels. And the earlier you start doing it, the earlier you start getting your...
The last time I remember grinding out a rep intentionally, I think was trying to get the Nether Drake back in Burning Crusade. Like, I remember doing dailies to try to get my rep up to finally purchase a Nether Drake. That was the last time that I ever remember grinding out an actual reputation. I just don't do it. Or maybe you can even say, what was it? In Shatterath with Scryer's rep, I was grinding that out for a while. But, like, since BC, I don't think I've ever grinded out a rep.
Shit list, the faster you're able to build up their reputation.
Just don't do it.
Now, there is actually a very, very sweaty way for you to be able to get even more chat lists. Technically, whenever you do all the chat lists and complete them on all of your ults and mains, then you're kind of done with chat lists for the week. But if you want to get more of them, you technically could go farming them for even more chat lists that could drop from other enemy goblin mobs. Any goblin enemy with an Undermine has a chance to drop their own chat list, and if you could turn in 40 of those, you can get yourself a brand new list. And there's right now 2 ways of being able to farm them. One of the ways would be to just absolutely farm them out over by the beach, which is usually where players go to farm the Darkfuse reputation stuff. Usually there will be a lot of groups and hyper spawning mobs, and all of those have a pretty decent chance of dropping chat lists. So if you can get into one of those farming groups, that's one way of doing it. Or if you want to do it solo, you could do it through Delve, specifically the Street Side Sluice Delve.
Wait, I'm confused. So if he gets the chat list, does he gets to reset the chat list again? He gets these chat cards. That's what it is. He's calling it chat lists. But I could see it on his loot table down here. It's called a chat card. That's what he looted. So if he gets 40 of those, he can do a chat list again?
It is something that can be done all on your own, and you should try to do this delve on higher tier difficulty just because it allows more mobs to spawn in that delve, specifically the nemesis mobs.
Oh, and they drop in delves?
A slightly higher chance of dropping out of the C.H.E.T.T list. So if you could run this on tier 8s to maybe get your weeklies out of the way so you can count.
Oh, so then you hand those in and then you could do another list. I wonder if that will enable you to double up on that achievement in 1 week. Like do the C.H.E.T.T list, then get 40 cards, unlock a second C.H.E.T.T list, do it again, and then you get the double C.H.E.T.T list completionist achievement. And then you could do the rep. So maybe you can do this in 1 week.
Tap out on your delves on an old character. That's kind of can be one of
drop
those
a lot in
two
Undermine delves.
moments where you can get a bit of rewards while also working on your weeklies. Or if you could do them in tier 11s, if you could do them fairly quickly, that's another way for you to be able to get
Or
a
you
bunch
could
of
have an
C.H.E.T.T lists.
alt.
But this is only if you really want to sweat for their reputation. Maybe you don't have a lot of alt characters, you just want to grind
Yeah,
out
it's me.
on
I
a
don't have
single
alt
character.
characters.
Then you can go about doing it. But definitely doing the C.H.E.T.T list with a bunch of alts is the most efficient method for farming out rep for the original 4 cartels.
Sure.
However, besides the 4 main cartels, there is a 5th secret cartel of Darkfuse Solutions.
Yeah.
This one you can only unlock, however, after completing the main storyline of Undermine, as well as the story quest that has you go into the raid and defeat Gallowix himself. And once you do that, over in the main hotel area, you'll see an overly sealed letter that unlocks you the Darkfuse Solution
Let's be honest here,
faction.
you're not going to do
Once you pick up that letter, you do have to find them, and the way
Look, whether or not I'm going to do it is not the question, okay? It doesn't matter. Now I know how to do it. Now I need the motivation to do it. That's the problem.
you do that is you go to the Hovel Hill and you find
Probably
this
won't.
mechanical shredder looking item, or I guess it's a scrap
But it's good
box
to
from
know.
BFA really. And then you go into this sewer entrance down the ladder, and over here at the end of the hall is where you'll find the Darkfuse, as well as the main Darkfuse vendor that you'll have to interact with in order to farm up that rep. For all the other cartels, their rep is very straightforward, but Darkfuse is going to require a little bit of grinding. Though, if you're someone who just likes to grind out content instead of like switching off for alts and doing all of your weeklies with chat activities, if you're not a fan of that, but you'd rather just spend like, I don't know, 15 hours grinding this thing in one sitting, you could totally do so with the Darkfuse Solutions. Now, the Darkfuse as a cartel is actually very, very unique because it has its own set of rewards, from refurbished Goblin Gliders, which can launch you up in the air so you can
Very cool.
travel around the open world if you wanted to. You also get the Canisters of the Darkfuse Solution, which spawns a rare that could drop a mount. So that is something that if you unlock their reputation as early as possible, it doesn't even cost that much for any of y'all, so it's a lot of opportunity for you to be able to get a lot of gear on those guys. Atomic Regoblinator, which is yet another toy that you can add to your collection. A Darkfuse Demolisher
This is
mount.
probably this coolest Demolisher mount in the game. Well, at least from the reputations right now. The coolest one in the game is the hard mode achievement one. Oh, I forget what that achievement's called. But the one where you got to do the raid and complete all the achievements and all the bosses, you get basically that black and blue one. Looks like an Infinite Time Weaver version of this shit. That's really cool. But this is fine. This is yeah, the Glory achievement, exactly. That's the best one in the expansion right now. But this is second best.
Which looks absolutely amazing.
black and red one.
One of the most sought after mounts, the Darkfuse Lawn Down Coat, which is the trench coat that a lot of players are currently grinding for. It is an excellent reward.
Neo from the
And
Matrix.
there's a variety of other experimental items. Either way, this cartel, however, is a little bit harder to grind through compared to the others because the only way to do so is through box of Darkfuse Miscellany, which you will require 100 market research as a new currency once you unlock this cartel in order to obtain. At the
Okay.
very least, they did make this currency, as of recently, something that is warbound transferable. So if you do collect any of it on any of your old characters, you can always pull them together on a single character and then buy up a bunch of rep using the market research.
Wow.
And very similar to the other cartels, you get about 500 rep per one of these boxes. So it is something that is...
I'll be honest, man. I mean, Blizzard said that having ults should not give you an advantage in the game, but it looks like with reputation grinding, it is totally an advantage in the game. He's literally throwing all the currencies on one character, running 4 chat lists a week. It's kind of ridiculous. What the hell? I'm getting upset.
Super fast, but it is something that you can get through at
don't
a
have
fairly
alts.
reasonable pace. Now, the way to get the market research, however, this one is going to be a lot more grindier than the other two, where the other, you can just do a variety of open world activities and stuff.
And there's two options for me right now. I can either man up and go create some alts and actually do this shit the right way, or I can just bitch about it and tell Blizzard they should nerf this. Probably do the second one.
This one you really have to just grind for it, and the way you collect the market research is by slaying any of the mobs within Undermine. Every single mob especially of lower
Yeah, Archbishop,
difficulty,
you're right.
like non-elites, have a chance to drop a little bit of research. Elites and rares have a higher chance to drop even more research. So usually the more threatening the enemy is, the more research you can get. But also, if you can do one of those hyper-spawning mob farms with Darkfuse in Undermine, that's another efficient way of going about it. Another
a
way
lot
the
of dead
players have been
bodies.
able to get a decent bit of it, if you just don't really want to sit there and grind forever, but rather have another task to work on,
junk piles.
is to do the scrap yards and scrap works within the Undermine area. Like just doing the scrap farm and the trash piles, if you're trying to still get some of those mounts and those rewards from the scrap, while also being able to get some market research, that's another way of doing it as well. But with that one, it's just really a long, arduous grind for you to try to finish up as quickly as possible, which makes it maybe one of the most straightforward reputations that you can just sit down and grind through immediately. But when I say grind, a lot of players say this is a very, very, very big grind, however. But definitely check to see if there's a Darkfuse or rep farming happening on the beach area, because right now a lot of players are saying if you just look to sit down and grind through it, this one seems to be the most efficient method as of this moment. But with that, as always, though, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, and hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give this video a like. I would very much appreciate that. Also, join the Discord community, probably the best way to reach out to me, or if you want to just keep up with all the newest class changes and patch notes, which seem to be happening a lot more regularly as of recently, probably the best place to join in the discussion as soon as new updates appear. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in the next one.
Nice video. You guys got me fucking laughing because you're talking so much shit in the chat. Jesus. It was look, informative. The chat list, obviously a great way to grind out reps. That's what it looks like. It's probably the best way. And completing it twice to get the achievement is the quick way to do it. You got to complete it twice. It looks like, if I'm right, you could do it once, get the check cards, do it a second time in the same week to unlock the achievement, and then you could start grinding out the rep via the one that you've aligned yourself with that week. Only the one that you aligned yourself with can you get the 500 extra rep. So, interesting. Cool way to do it, and obviously, I guess, alts are the best way to do it. Nice video from Dalaran.